talk about the lymphatic system. What? I remember that from biology. What is that? Okay. It is your body's sewage system. Oh, cool. I've got one of those? Yeah. So let's get all that stuff out. Now, things you need to know about the lymphatic system. I'm going to put the chart up here because it illustrates it so well.
Can you put it on the counter maybe?
Can I?
Yeah.
Let's see.
I can hold it.
Raise it up somehow.
And just lean it forward.
Oh.
We got an engineer in the house.
Yeah, that's good.
This guy can
Cool. That's great. Thank you.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. All right. So, lymphatic system is a one-way system. It's designed only to get stuff out, really. It's a big filtering mechanism. So, in most of the body, it actually parallels the veins. It's got a very, very weak pulse of its own. I mean, barely enough to move the fluid in it. And then because of its proximity to the veins, it actually gets more of a boost from that to help push it along. The other things you'll notice, especially in the major joints, think everywhere that the body bends, okay? These are where you have concentrations of lymph nodes, and the nodes are more of the filters, okay? Because fluid will pass from the very ends of the transition between the arteries and the veins, capillaries, okay? And the fluid will gather in the cells, and then because the veins are much smaller, sometimes they can't handle the big globs that are coming out of our system. You know, whole bits of fat, multiple cells, bacteria, viruses, and right now, pollen. You can hear some of that in my voice. So, where was I going with that? Okay, so large filtering at any of the joints. Another way to move that, the system, is to exercise. Hopefully we've all been doing that during this cleanse. So it's just a good way to push it along. Other ways that it moves is that about 7% of it is on the surface, directly below the skin. The other 30% is deep around the heart and lungs and in the abdomen, all around your intestines. Okay? So the ways to get the deep systems moving is take a deep breath, and that will move the internal lymphatic system up there. And then, of course, we've all been having bowel movements. So anti-peristalsis, which is the movement of the gut, will move the deep nodes in the gut. Okay? The rest of it, the 70%, exercise, and one other therapy that I do is manual lymph drainage. Okay? I'm going to show you all a very quick way to do that yourself tonight. Kind of like a mini boost, and ever since I first heard about this many years ago when I started massage school, it's like, oh, this is so cool. You know? So I learned this very basic little way to access the system yourself and take care of it. So I'm going to give you, in the handouts I've given tonight, there are directions. But I'm going to do a little bit of a demonstration. Okay. What did I miss here? Okay. So we're working with the body's water system, okay? Because when it dumps into two large veins, picture this as your bathtub drain, the opening, okay? And your body is full of all this water with all this dirt and stuff in it, okay? Here's your drain. From here, it dumps into two large veins that kind of go behind the heart. And those veins then get passed through liver, spleen, kidneys to get the stuff out. Okay? But you always start your lymph drainage by opening up the areas here. Okay? The way you do that yourself You're going to dip fingers right behind the collarbone. And I don't know, on me it feels full tonight, but I've got this respiratory thing going on. And I've already done this once today. Okay?
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
the thing with lymph drainage, I'm going to show you. You don't want to do like a massage stroke where you're pressing deeply in the tissue. Okay? What you're doing is stretching the skin as far as it'll go. Okay? So not deep, very light, because the 70% that is on the surface is directly below the skin. So if you're stretching and moving the skin, then you're pulsing the lymphatic system yourself. Okay? So, dip the fingers behind your collarbone, and then just stretch as far as it'll go, diagonal along the collarbone, and think the ocean. Just like a wave, you've got an ebb and a flow. So, you're going to pulse it and release, and pulse and release, and pulse and release. Okay? The nose generally want to be done 7 to, usually about 7 times. So, from there, you go to other groupings. So, because this is the drain, on the head, you would work behind the ears here. This is a really good one to know. Okay, so you're diagonal right behind the ear here. And you're pulling diagonal to the nodes you just emptied.
And there's a picture handout that shows all those spots.
Yeah. The graph that I put on page 2, it actually shows you the direction to move the system and all the nodes. So this is, once you learn it, you can do this basic opening in about 15 minutes. And if you've got something going on like respiratory, if it's affecting just nose, chest, you can do just upper body, okay? If you've got some other kind of infection or a fungal thing or whatever, if it's on your foot, you do all the way down to your foot and then work your way back. So just like opening the bathtub drain, you always open it, and then, like your bathtub, you make sure it's not clogged, okay? You don't pull a hair or whatever, junk. So you always work away from the opening and then back up, okay? Away from the opening, back down to the fingertips and back, okay? So if you ever feel swollen, if you've eaten a lot of Chinese food with a lot of MSG or whatever, a lot of my female clients, it's like, oh, I'm so swollen today. Okay, is it PMS? Is it Chinese food? Gentlemen, happens to you too, if you've eaten a lot of the salty foods or whatever. So that's a really good time to do it. Respiratory, just open that. Fungal infection. Women, if you have a vaginal infection, we have lots and lots of lymph nodes right through the groin area. You can do down to there and just open that up, okay? And I'm presuming that you want to see the whole pathways a little bit more. I'm just going to keep doing this as I'm talking. So, after the main drain and doing the trunk, you're going to kind of grab into your armpit and pull it diagonal towards the throat. So the armpit can be a whole lot to grab, but try and do it as lightly as you can, just to move the fluid. How many of y'all have noticed any swelling in nodes during this cleaning?